Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So this is going to be my Stanley Cup Playoff predictions in this video as the playoffs get underway this weekend. And so we're going to start with the Western Conference and we'll go to the Eastern Conference, and then we'll just kind of work our way up until we get to the Stanley Cup Finals matchup. Let's get right into it. So starting with the division-winning Colorado Avalanche, they will be taking on the Los Angeles Kings, who finished in the second wild card spot. And so Colorado would have home ice advantage throughout this series, and I think Colorado would end up winning this game. And I'm going to say 5 games. I think Colorado takes them down. I don't think the series is going to be a very long series. So give me Colorado in 5 over the Los Angeles Kings. Moving on to the Dallas Stars Minnesota Wild game. I think this is probably going to be one of the best first round series we'll see in this year's playoffs. And so it's the Dallas Stars, the Division II spot, versus the Division III spot Minnesota Wild. And so Dallas would have home ice advantage throughout this series. I think this series probably goes the full 7, and I think Dallas would end up winning it on home ice in Game 7. So I have that going to 7 games, and I have the Dallas Stars moving on there. Moving on to the division-winning Las Vegas Golden Knights to play the first wildcard team, the Utah Mammoth. And so Vegas would have home ice advantage throughout this series. I think this could be a pretty fun series. I think this could very well go 6 games. Who wins it? I would love to see Utah win it, but I think we're going to go with Vegas because we haven't seen Utah in the playoffs. I don't know how they're going to look, and so give me Vegas in 6 games there. I got Vegas taking down the Utah Mammoth in 6. Moving on to the final matchup in the Western Conference. It is the Edmonton Oilers versus the Anaheim Ducks. So Edmonton would have home ice advantage, and they're going to win this easily. I think this is a 5-game series. I think Ducks will win one. I think Edmonton will probably win 1 or 2 close games, and then like the other 2 are probably a little bit bigger. I think the Ducks will put up a fight, but I think Edmonton, with guys like Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, I think that'll help them end up beating the Anaheim Ducks. So now moving on to the Eastern Conference side of the table, we have the Buffalo Sabres versus the Boston Bruins. Now, both of these teams did miss the playoffs last year, and so that definitely plays a factor. Both of these teams don't have the playoff experience because none of them were in it last year. Boston would have the most recent experience in the postseason, but with how inconsistent Boston's been, I think I'm going to ride Buffalo. I think Buffalo is coming into this playoff series determined to win a round, and so give me the Buffalo Sabres. And I think this will be I'm going to say 7 games because I think at the end of the day, I think both of these teams, like not being in the playoffs last year, I think this will be a fun series. I think it goes probably 6 or 7 games just because these teams don't have the playoff experience that some of the other teams do that we've already talked about or that we're going to talk about in the coming minutes. But I think it comes down to none of these teams have playoff experience, and so I think that's going to allow both teams to really want to take this series, but I think Buffalo gets it done in Game 7 on their home ice. Next, it's the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens. I'd love to say Montreal here, but I can't. Give me Lightning in 5. Montreal, they made the playoffs last year. They went home in round 1 against the Washington Capitals, but Lightning have too much experience in the postseason. They're a really good team, and so they will take down Montreal, and I believe 5 games there. Moving on to the Carolina Hurricanes and the Ottawa Senators. I'm going to say this is a 4-game series and I've got the Carolina Hurricanes moving on there. Now to the final Eastern Conference first round matchup. It is the Battle of Pennsylvania. It is the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, if you ask who am I rooting for, it is the Philadelphia Flyers. But I'm going to say the Penguins win this, and I'm going to say the Penguins get it done in 5 games. I really want the Flyers to, take out the Penguins, but the Flyers won a lot of games, I think, in the shootout, and that's going to affect them because in the playoffs there is no shootouts. It's continued overtime until there's a winner, and I just think the Penguins, to me, they've got the more experience in the postseason. I have the Penguins taking this series. I don't think it's going to be super hard for them, and so I have the Penguins there. So moving on to round 2 now, we have the Colorado Avalanche versus the Dallas Stars. Colorado would have home ice advantage. If this series were to happen, I think, if I had to predict here, I'm actually going to go with the Dallas Stars. That's an upset, but I'm going to take the Dallas Stars over the Avalanche. The President's Trophy curse is a thing, and so Colorado goes home in round 2, and I'm going to say they go home in, I'm going to say 6 games that goes. I think that series will go 6 games, have Dallas moving on to knock out the Colorado Avalanche. Now to the Vegas Golden Knights. They will be battling with the Edmonton Oilers, and I think this comes down to which team will win. And I'm going to predict the Edmonton Oilers to take this down. I think this will be a 6-game series as well. And so I have Edmonton moving on to the Western Conference Finals there. To the Eastern Conference side of the table, we have the Buffalo Sabres versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Sabres would have home ice advantage. I think this will be a 6-game series, and I have the Tampa Bay Lightning moving on. I'd love to see Buffalo move on and win the Cup, but I just don't think they are gonna. And so I'm going to say the Lightning, with the experience that they have, they're going to probably take down Buffalo pretty easily. They'll get them done, I think, in 6. So we have the Carolina Hurricanes and the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I'm going to predict the Carolina Hurricanes here. I have the Hurricanes taking this series in 5 games. I think the Penguins will get 1. I have Carolina winning that in 5 games. So now to the Western Conference Finals. We have the Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers. I'm going to say Edmonton takes them. I think Edmonton in 7 games. I think this will go the length, but I have Edmonton moving on to the Stanley Cup Finals. Now to the Eastern Conference, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm going to say this goes 7 with the Tampa Bay Lightning heading to the Stanley Cup Finals. So now the Stanley Cup Finals matchup is the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Edmonton Oilers. And I'm going to predict here, I'm going to go with the Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup, and I'm going to say that series will go the full 7 games, but I have Edmonton finally winning the Stanley Cup this year, as they will get it done in 7, knocking out the Tampa Bay Lightning. So those are my 2026 Stanley Cup playoff predictions. Let me know what you guys think. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Let me know in the comments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Edmonton in 7. They take down the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the Stanley Cup. Thanks, guys, for watching. Really appreciate it. And I'm going to talk to you guys in the next video. Peace out.